Alright, I got a full house, man. What do you got?
I got family.
Hey, what's up and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today I'm going to be talking about the latest installment in the long-running action Fast and Furious franchise. It's the 9th film, F9. This time around, Dom Toretto is enjoying a little bit of R&R time with Letty and his son Brian when he's pulled back into the action after learning that there's been a dangerous device out there that has the ability to control all electronics on the planet, including any and all nuclear arsenal hidden around the globe. He gets even more invested when he learns that somewhere at the heart of those seeking out this device is his long-lost brother Jacob, and to stop him, he may have to go further than he's ever gone before. So, we're finally here, 9 movies in. You know, this is one of those guilty pleasure series for me where I hardly ever hate a Fast and Furious film. I own all 8 up to this point on Blu-ray, and I plan to eventually expand that collection to include the rest of the series, including this one. I've seen some people complain here and there about this film, and sure, some of the complaints I agree with, and we'll get to that, but I still find F9 to be a really fun, action-packed thrill ride just like the others. One thing that the series constantly gets made fun of is Vin Diesel's penchant to bring up family all the time, and it's become this giant meme lately where it doesn't matter about the logic when you have family. And as stupid as that sometimes gets in these films, I actually really admire that because 9 movies in, other movies would be entirely recast at this point. But a majority of this cast is still the same, and they still clearly have the same bond that they had when it all began. And each film introduces us to at least one more character every time. And in F9, that's Jacob Toretto, played by John Cena. Truth be told, I thought I was going to hate him in this movie. I thought that they had to replace The Rock because The Rock decided he wasn't going to return to the franchise, so they picked another wrestler, blah, 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 blah. But I actually liked Cena in this film, and again, everybody had charisma and chemistry together, and to me, I bought the sibling rivalry thing that the Torettos had, and I especially believe the journey that both of them kind of had to take throughout the runtime of the film, which I won't ruin for you. What about the stunts? Most people who have seen the trailers know most of the stunts that happen in this film. You really only get a glimpse of each thing that does happen, but the trailers basically showed you everything, including the, I don't want to give it away, but the space race. I mean, true enough, this is the film that does the space thing. But it's not the end of the world to me. James Bond did the same exact thing in Moonraker, but that is, wait until the very end of the movie, and not take that much time in space. Plus, there was plenty of things going on the ground for it not to seem overly ridiculous in space. But even if they did go that route, and they did go crazy in space from beginning to end, I'd be all for it. I'm here for the insanity, alright? That's what I want to see. I know that the logic and the physics make no real sense, but whatever, I'm also here for the family angle, which I find to be very relatable and admirable. What about negatives for F9? Simply put, I just want to say this. The second act. This entire film hinges on Toretto's history, so there's a lot of focus on some flashbacks that cover his and his brother's life growing up, and the entire second act is basically trying to do a little detective work to find out where he's hiding. This is the part of the movie that I think is kind of slow and boring. As stupid as it sounds, this series has gone into obscurity so much in all the right reasons, so when it tries to calm down and talk about something serious, like Dom's past, I just didn't care all that much. It may sound absurd for me to want something shallow, and maybe I am, but I want something fast and furious, not slow and calm. Another slight negative that I had with this film is one of the characters in this film that reprises their role from a previous one. I won't say who specifically because there's a few, but the one that I'm referring to specifically felt out of place and useless, almost like it's just a cameo thing. But they keep trying to give him lines and keep trying to give him things to do, and none of it was really important in the long run, and it kind of annoyed me. Oh yeah, and one of my pet peeves, the flashback version of Toretto looks nothing like him, okay? I'm sorry. Sounds a little like him though, I guess. Other than that, yeah, everything ended up being pretty business as usual. I mean, I'm curious on where they'll take this film for a 10th movie. It almost feels like they can't up the ante anymore, but I guess there's always something that you can do. I mean, that's why people have always been assuming that the series would eventually cross over with another film or something. Only time can tell. Let's take a look at my final score. From a technical, unbiased level, I would say aesthetically, this film is pretty much on par with how the last few films have looked on a technical level. I'd even say that the same goes for how the dialogue is written and action is directed. It feels nearly identical. The stunts themselves have just been upped. This score is 82%. My bias score, or just how I felt about it overall, I definitely had a good time with it. Sure, a few areas here and there were slower and slightly boring, but those action sequences, for me, are just too fun. This score is 90%, averaging everything out to a final score of 86%. 86 out of 100 possible stars, or an A- letter grade. Guys, let's hear your thoughts on this 9th film in the Fast and Furious franchise in the comment section down below. And as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out.
Dave examines movies we just watch for fun. Davey is the expert. He is the